Let's do a round of questions and see where we are after that. Yes?
Yeah. Sorry, my voice.
That's fine.
Yeah, I try to keep that distance. I'm just curious about just how it works kind of under the hood, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing some scraping just with Python and the like, and some of the challenges I've encountered has been with stuff like JavaScript, something that like loads as you scroll, and so often you have to set timers to have it wait until you actually get the link.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if that's something that HYPHE accounts for, or...
So HYPHE doesn't load the JavaScript. It looks at the links in the HTML of the pages.
Yeah.
So for those who are not familiar with that, it's important because some websites, some web pages load kind of upfront. They load, and maybe the images and the video will take a little bit more time to arrive, but the page is loaded as it arrives. But other pages load when you interact with them or kind of in a second time. So it's the case of Facebook, for instance. If you are on Facebook, you remember that when you go to Facebook, first it kind of loads a hull, a frame, right? That's empty, and then the contents arrive, right? Most platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and stuff like that, they are like this. So what happens under the hood in the web is that it loads kind of a minimal HTML page that then calls for more content that arrive dynamically. These kinds of secondary content, right now, HYPHE doesn't see them. So this is a huge technical challenge. And even though we used to have that work, now it doesn't work anymore, and we're going to make that work again, addressing that is super complicated. It makes the performance drop hugely, like 100 times slower, stuff like that. But it's only a minority of websites. So that's something you should use only in certain circumstances. But if you want to do that, there are other tools that probably do that better. We call them scrapers most of the time. And usually you also have an API behind. Now I know that all these platforms used to have APIs, you know, Flickr, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and now they are stopping the APIs. You know, we are post Snowden, post Cambridge Analytica. This data has value. They want to prevent people from stealing it for, you know, because they want to make money for it or because they want to manipulate people, whatever the reasons. So they stop the access to the APIs, and now the crawlers become useful again. But to answer your question, so we just look at the hyperlinks inside the raw HTML, so it works only with the kind of old-fashioned structure of the web. And we use for that a specialized library that is called HYPHE. Okay. It's in Python. And it takes in charge the throttling, for instance, you know, not doing too many queries at the same time, because you could get banned by the website because you ask too many pages compared to a normal user, stuff like that. So that's the kind of things that HYPHE takes in charge for you. The way it's efficient is that one web entity is not queried too frequently, so one entity is slow, but that you do usually many at the same time. So we do all of them together. That's where you are quicker than a human being, even if individually you're kind of the same rhythm than a human being. That's it. Other questions?
Yes, just very short.
Sure.
So when you say you, in this part of the presentation, it's you and the program that works for you, right? I mean, when you say you, then decide whether it's in or out?
No, you yourself.
But how can you ever go through 4,000 web pages?
Time.
Do that.
You do that.
So
yes. So the bad news is that's what you do.
Yeah.
So there are shortcuts. So for instance, to do my jazz thing, the reason why I picked the jazz theme is that many websites about jazz have jazz in their domain name. So I could go to Prospect, search for whatever contains the word jazz in the URL, and then take them. It's kind of dirty as a criterion, but I mean, time is limited, right? So, but it works well for jazz. It works well for other communities, like when we studied the Jewish diaspora, which is huge and international, but they have many different versions of the word Jewish in their name very often. So that's a way to find a lot of them, and from there we can have more quality, but that is easy. Now, some communities are not like that. And that's an issue. And that's, I mean, bad luck sometimes. That's up to you to decide that. But it is field work. It's retooled ethnography, right? So you spend as much time on the web as you would spend time inside the community by participating. That's the spirit of HYPHE. So yes, I have seen tens of thousands of websites in my life. But I mean, I like to go in the, how we call that, you know, when people open their garage and you have to find, they sell their stuff. How we say that? Yeah. I like this kind of searching for the gold nuggets. And for that reason, I like to do Web Corpora.